Hello and welcome to the She Reads Romance Books podcast, the ultimate show for romance book lovers looking for the best books worth reading. I'm your host, Leslie Murphy, and in each short episode, I share my favorite book list of recommendations so you know exactly what to add to your must-read list. Join me as I explore the romance genre and have fun collecting book boyfriends along the way, because life is better with a love story. Hello, readers. It's Leslie, your host here at She Reads Romance Books podcast. And this is going to be the episode to keep coming back to this entire summer because I have you set for the next few months with 15 of the must-read new summer romance books that are dropping here in 2025. You know, summertime, I don't know. I think it's just the perfect time to settle in with a really great romance book that's going to not only sweep you away with just the romance, but also this essential feeling of summer love. This book list includes all of my must-read new summer romance books that are going to make the perfect beach reads or poolside reads for this summer. Or even, the perfect staycation reads, no matter what your vacation plans are. But I think these titles, again, are going to bring you some really great romance stories from some really amazing authors, but also just give you that quintessential feeling of summer love that is just going to be fantastic. Now, these first few, I'm going to kind of fly through because I've already mentioned them in my May 2025 must-read romance episode. And the first one that, again, it's quintessential summer romance, just as all of her new romance books are, and that is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. This is the love story between Charlie Florrick, who you will recognize as a character from her first book, Every Summer After, and his happily ever after with Alice, the girl he met as a teenager, who she is now returning to Barry's Bay, their magical place on the lake, because her grandmother broke her hip. So she's coming to take care of her. And there she runs into Charlie again in his, famous yellow speedboat, and shenanigans ensue. Now, I think Carly is always a guaranteed pick for summer romance reading. Last year, she swept me away to Prince Edward Island in Canada, and this year we're going back to a small lakeside town in Canada for Charlie's Happily Ever After. Even, I think, I mentioned this in that last episode too, that the beautiful cover screams summer romance like no other. I'm already going to get swept away by the boat with Charlie and Alice in this must-read summer romance of the year. So One Golden Summer is definitely the first book to kick off your summer reading list. The next book to read this summer, which I think is going to be so cute, is The Love Haters by Catherine Center. This book is about a female who cannot swim, but to save her job, she has to go and profile a Coast Guard rescue swimmer in Key West. So yeah, twist my arm to take me to a romance book that's set in Key West, Florida. It's going to be amazing, filled with swim lessons, helicopter flights, drinking contests, hurricanes, and Katie finally getting the swim lessons that she desperately needs. I love it. I think it's going to be perfect for summer. And I'm really curious to learn more about Coast Guard rescue swimmers because I think that is a pretty cool job choice. So The Love Haters should definitely be on your must-read list for summer reading this year. Another book that I already mentioned, talked about, and raved about because it's already one of my favorites of the year is It's a Love Story by Annabelle Moynihan. And she is going to take you to Long Island this summer, where Jane Jackson travels with her sort of enemy, one-time crush, Dan Finnegan, to this music festival where she is going to try and connect with the one guy who she knew from her past when she was a kid on a favorite sitcom. but she needs to get this singer to create or write a song for a new movie that she wants greenlit. But she really doesn't want to run into him, and she's not sure what she thinks about crashing at her arch nemesis home. But oh my gosh, Dan Finnegan is like the best book boyfriend of the year. You're going to totally fall in love with him this summer, as well as Jane, because she's adorable. But their time together on Long Island was just the most perfect slow burn romance. This absolutely should be on your must read list for this summer. It's a Love Story by Annabelle Moynihan. You are going to love it. Another book for this summer must read is Problematic Summer Romance by Allie Hazelwood. Can't believe she's giving us a third romance book to read this year. But this is her new age gap brother's best friend romance, where the two characters are going to be spending a week with enforced proximity at this romantic Sicilian villa, for the heroine's brother is going to be getting married there. Honestly, yeah, it had me at Sicilian Villa. Like, I want to be there on the beautiful Ionian coast with these two, seeing ancient ruins, eating delicious food, and of course, falling in love when there's maybe this little forbidden aspect to it. If Allie's writing it, I'm reading it. I think this is going to be a fantastic read for the summer. Pick up Problematic Summer Romance when it drops in May. All right, so those are the few I've already talked about in past episodes. So the new summer romance books that are definitely on my TBR list starts with All's Fair in Love and Pickleball by Kate Spencer. And here's what this one is about. Bex Martin's Racket Club is her entire world, but the business she inherited from her mother has started to feel more like a sinking ship. That is until Nicholas Karras, a former tennis bad boy with an ego as big as his serve, makes himself at home on her courts. Nico has something to prove, and a high-stakes pickleball tournament is just what he needs to get back in the game after a career-ending injury. When he is finally able to set his ego aside to ask for Beck's help, everyone assumes that they are a couple on and off the court. But she needs the prize money to save the club, and he needs a win to restore his reputation. So now they have a fake relationship as well as a doubles partner that they can't seem to resist. Game on. So you may not know this about me, but I have become obsessed with pickleball as of late. So of course, this new summer romance made my list of must reads. I just got my advanced reader copy. Cannot wait to dive in. This is supposedly Kate's steamiest book, and I'm all for the tension between the bad boy tennis player and the pickleball club owner. Add in a fake relationship, which is my catnip, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Super pickup for my summer reading bliss this season. The next summer romance book that I highly recommend is Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. And here is what her latest is about. Scotty Price just started a new job, and it's a real sausage fest. She's the only woman on a team filled with Brads and Chads. Expecting a bachelor pad atmosphere, she is quickly corrected when she finds out everyone is happily married. In an effort to impress her boss, Scotty mentions her non-existent husband in a company meeting, but eagle-eyed Chad points out her lack of wedding ring. Panicked, Scotty creates a story about her unhappy marriage. Unfortunately for Scotty, her boss has a solution. A one-on-one session with the best marriage counselor in the Northeast, who happens to be her boss's husband. With no way out of her lie, Scotty agrees to see him. Frantic, she calls in help from her best friend, who sets her up with his brother, an improv-obsessed millionaire. Enter Wilder Wells. More than happy to take on the job, he teaches Scotty the main rule of improv: always say yes. But the rule backfires during the session when Wilder signs them up for an 8-day summer marriage camp with all of Scotty's co-workers, where she'll have to share a cabin with her way too handsome fake husband. I think this is hysterical. It sounds like the perfect setup for a cute summer romance that has an improv star as the main character. So I'm really hoping that some of Megan's comedic chops shine through with this really fun rom-com that, pulls in some really great forced proximity for their 8-day summer marriage camp when they are fake married. So I think this is going to be a really fun one to read. Hopefully it's dropping on Kindle Unlimited, so it'd be super easy to pick up. So make sure you add that to your TBR list. The next summer romance book on my list is Slow Burn Summer by Josie Silver. And here is what this one is about. Talent agent Charlie Francisco has 3 problems: a divorce that ended his screenwriting career, a business he never planned to inherit, and a take your breath away romance novel whose author wants nothing to do with its publication. The book is a surefire hit if only his agency can find someone to play author on its summer book tour. Enter Kate Elliott, a former soap actress who's miraculously right for the part at the very moment her life seems to be going all wrong. Kate is still recovering from her own divorce, and Charlie's job offer is a lifeline. She agrees to the pretense for all interviews, signings, and appearances surrounding the novel's publication, but she can't know who really wrote the remarkable story, the one so beautiful it's made her believe in love again. When Kate and Charlie meet, they're all friction and sparks. The one thing they have in common is they're determined to play their respective parts. But as the summer heats up and the lies get bigger and bigger, can they stick to their lines or will they go off script? This sounds, gosh, super, super cute, doesn't it? I love the setup of this new romance that I think is sure to be a hit this summer. There's just something about, I think, characters who find love after divorce or, a relationship gone bad that is extra satisfying. I'm really interested to see how Kate pulls off posing as the romance author and what her, summer book tour entails. It should be a lot of fun. So definitely check out Slow Burn Summer with me this season. Next up on my summer romance list is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. And here is what it is about. Joni Lark has a secret. She's one of the most coveted songwriters in LA, and yet she can't write. There's an emptiness inside her, and nothing seems to fill it. When she returns to her hometown of Vienna Shores, North Carolina, she hopes that the sand, the surf, and the concerts at the Revelry, her family's music venue, will spark inspiration. But when Joni gets there, nothing is how she left it. Her best friend is hiding something, her mother's memories are fading fast, and the Revelry is closing. How can Joni write when her world is leaving her behind? Until she hears it, a melody in her head, lyricless and half-formed, and an alluring and addictive voice to go with it, belonging apparently to a wry musician with an emptiness of his own. Surely he's a figment of Joni's overworked imagination. Then a very real man shows up in Vienna Shores. He's arrogant and guarded, nothing like the sweet, funny voice in Joni's head. And he has a plan for breaking their inconvenient telepathic connection. Finish the song, haunting them both, and hope they don't risk their hearts or their secrets in the process. Because that melody, the one drawing them together, what if it's there for a reason? I cannot wait to dive into my advanced reader copy of this. Ashley's romance novels are so unique, right? And I am really excited to dive into this new one this summer. I love that the 2 main characters have a telepathic connection that probably neither one wants, but sounds like it's going to really help them both. I am really anxious to see just what the song is about, right? And what lyrics it's going to have to see how that might influence their love story. So be sure to check out Ashley's new romance, Sounds Like Love, with me this summer. Next on my list is one that I'm super excited for ever since I read the first book in her series. But this summer, we are going to finally get The 7-Year Itch by Amy Dawes. And here is what this one is about. Alone and looking to bone, a loud-mouthed mountain man seeks fiery woman to grow old with. I might look like a tall, tattooed, bearded Neanderthal, but like an onion, I have layers. Swipe right if you like a proud cat daddy who catches feelings after direct eye contact. All I wanted was a casual +1 to my brother's destination wedding, But those idiots on my family tree hacked my dating profile and sabotaged my quest for the perfect weekend fling. Now I'm stuck on a tropical vacation with only my hand to keep me company. Until I'm forced to share a room with the bane of my existence, my sister-in-law's best friend. Dakota has hated me for the past 7 years. I wasn't losing much sleep over her screaming rants because she was some other guy's problem. Or she was until she got divorced. Being stuck in paradise with a woman who loathes your very existence doesn't sound hot, but after an unexpected moment in our shared palapa, she starts screaming at me in a different way. What happens in paradise stays in paradise. That is, until Dakota shows up on my mountain with a proposition. Be her wingman to help her regain her pre-divorce confidence. Suddenly, Dakota's not just the person I love to fight with. She's the woman I want everything with. So as I said, ever since reading 9-Month Contract, Amy's hit of 2024 in our She Reads Romance Books Book of the Month pick, I have been desperate for Calder's story, and it's finally here. I have a feeling that he and Dakota are going to really heat things up this summer with their enemies to lovers banter and the chemistry that is sure to cause a lot of sparks. I've definitely got a weak spot for a tattooed hero looking for love, even if he doesn't realize that's what he's wanted all along. Amy writes just the most hilarious and fun rom-coms with great banter. This series is so much fun. So excited that we're finally getting the 7-Year Itch this summer. It's going to be awesome. And I love the cover too. Super adorable. Okay, continuing on my list of must-read new summer romance books is The Ripple Effect by Maggie North. And here's what this one is about. Burned out former ER doc Stellar J. Bird can solve any crisis except her own life. But with her financial prospects dwindling, she'd do anything to stay in her beloved pricey wilderness town, even take a job as a camp physician at the Love Boat, an unspeakably touchy-feely relationship therapy startup. If there are sing-alongs, she's calling in sick. What's worse, her boss is Lyle McHugh, the sunshiny psychologist she's masterfully avoided since their disastrous hookup last year. Hard-headed relationship scorekeeper Stellar plans to dodge his pathological generosity from now until September. But after a scathing article puts McHugh's romantic credibility into question, a fake engagement is the only way to salvage the camp's crumbling public image. It's strictly business, but the more closely they work together, the more Stellar realizes her feelings for McHugh are anything but professional. With competitors hard on their heels and trade secrets at stake, they must find a way to marry his softness with her steel to build a business and a love that will last past summer's end. I am totally loving the setup of this reverse grumpy sunshine romance that focuses on a relationship therapy camp. Plus, fake relationships are some of my favorite romance books to read after, enemies to lovers. A She Reads Romance Books book club member loved reading this romance after she got the advanced reader copy. So based on her recommendation, it easily made my TBR list for this summer. Cannot wait to check out The Ripple Effect, which will be my first book by Maggie North. So I'm super excited for that. Next up is another book that sounds awesome, and it is Cruel Summer by Maisie Yates. And here's what it is about. I think we should see other people. That one sentence unravels Samantha Parker's perfect life. She has a loving husband, 3 wonderful kids, and a comfortable suburban lifestyle. But on the brink of their long-awaited empty nest chapter, Will asks Samantha for something she never dreamed of, an open marriage. Desperate to keep her husband happy, Samantha proposes a summer-long separation with no contact. She knows she has to use the opportunity to find herself, but she also has no interest in being with anyone but Will. She's confident when the season is over, they'll get back together like this time never happened. Then Sam gets an offer of adventure from an unlikely source, Logan Martin, a classic car restorer who happens to be Will's best friend, asks Sam to help him drive across the country to make deliveries. Logan and Sam have never had an easy relationship. He's prickly, aloof, and a little too handsome, and as they traverse the winding roads and breathtaking backdrops of North America, her changing connection with Logan challenges everything she believed she wanted in life, love, and passion. When her summer with Logan is up, will she go home to the familiar stability of her past or choose the thrilling uncertainty of her future? Honestly, this new summer romance had me at the opening line, right? Where, her husband is like, I think we should see other people. Oh my gosh. I think it's really rare to find, romance books with married couples, though I have a feeling this one isn't going to last very long. But I'm really curious how Samantha's situation with her husband's best friend is going to work out based on just everyone's situation. I have my advanced reader copy of this book. Cannot wait to dive in. It's going to be a must read of the summer for sure. Next up on my summer reading list is Anywhere with You by Ellie Palmer. And here is what this book is about. Charlie Beekman is thriving. Is she financially strapped, languishing in her legal career, and very likely the youngest divorcee at the Ruth's Chris Steakhouse on a Friday night? Yes, but now that she's accepted the flaws inherent in all romantic relationships, she finally has life all figured out. She's definitely due for an upswing. So when her free-spirited sister announces her plan to elope with her messy, on-again, off-again childhood sweetheart, Charlie knows she has to stop the wedding, even if it means road tripping into the northern woods of Minnesota in a camper van with her childhood best friend, Ethan, who's as gorgeous as he is chronically unreliable. But when their cozy journey ignites a spark she's tried to ignore for years, Charlie tries to write off her feelings as fleeting, because after failing at marriage so spectacularly with the most responsible man she's ever known, Charlie definitely shouldn't risk it all for her non-committal, nomadic musician best friend, right? So I have a feeling this is going to be such a fun summer romance. I already love the forced proximity of the camper van, right, into Minnesota, and Charlie's determination to stop a wedding that I think I'm most excited, honestly, to see her or how her views of romance and relationships changes with the help of her sister and her best friend. Because I don't know, I'm with her. Like, pick the responsible man. And it would be a little scary to kind of then fall for someone who is kind of the opposite. So anxious to see what Ellie Palmer brings in this new summer romance this season. All right, I've got a few more on the list. The next one being Well, Actually by Maisie Eddings. And here is what her new romance is about. Eva Kitt never expected to be the host of Sausage Talk, interviewing B-list celebrities over lukewarm hot dogs, instead of pursuing the journalism career she dreamed of. But when Eva's impromptu public call out of her college ex goes viral, she's thrust into the spotlight. It doesn't help that said ex is Riley Cooper, a beloved social media personality that has built a platform on deconstructing toxic masculinity and teaching men how to be good partners. Forced to confront Riley on a live episode of Sausage Talk, he offers Eva a deal. Allow him to take her on a series of dates to make up for his toxic behavior, then debrief them on his channel to show how he's changed. Eva refuses to play nice, but agrees to the scheme to advance her own career and continue defaming Riley's good name. When these manufactured dates start to feel real, Eva has to wonder if the boy that broke her heart has become the man that might heal it. So this summer romance book had me at Sausage Talk, not gonna lie. Plus a man who's willing to make up for his toxic behavior. I mean, yes, please. I'm all for it. May he be an inspiration for all. I have a feeling this is going to be a huge hit for Maisie, especially since she's sort of using real life talk shows, basing it off that for this really cute storyline. I'm really excited to dive into it this summer. Lucky enough to get an advanced reader copy. So stay tuned to hear more after I read it to share what I think about Well, Actually. The next summer romance book on my list, must reads for the season, is If All Else Sails by Emma St. Clair. And here is what it is about. When Josie's brother sends her to a random address for their sometimes annual super summer sibling extravaganza, she finds neither siblings nor extravaganzas. Instead, ends up at a rundown cottage on the northern neck of Virginia, occupied by a hockey player she knows and loathes. A hockey player who isn't just one of her sports agent brother's clients, he's also his best friend and Josie's sworn enemy. Oh, and her brother wants Josie to help Wyatt recover from his injury. So, dragging grumpy hockey players to physical therapy is a far cry from bandaging skinned knees, but for the price her brother offers to pay, Josie is willing to try, even if it means sharing what she dubs the quaint little murder college with Wyatt. Begrudgingly, Josie starts to see a little more of the man behind the grumpy exterior. And when she finds out he was supposed to sail the intercoastal waterway south to Savannah, scattering his uncle's ashes, Josie surprises even herself by offering to be Wyatt's first mate. Smooth sailing is nowhere to be found, and Josie begins to wonder if they'll be able to make it home without killing or kissing each other. And yet, the longer they share cramped quarters and canned food, the more of Wyatt's layers she peels back until Josie realizes she misunderstood him, their shared history, and perhaps herself as well. All right, so a romance book that includes sailing with a grumpy hockey player who happens to be your brother's best friend. I think I can absolutely get on board with this fun summer romance. If you are looking for a book to read for a staycation, I think this is a perfect pick. I personally don't care for sailboats. I think something about them being on the open water freaks me out, but I'm anxious to see what the forced proximity does for these two as they sail down to Savannah. So it should be really fun read this summer. All right, the last book that's rounding out my must-read summer romance book list is The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold by Allie Carter. And here is what it is about. 10 years ago, they joined the CIA. 6 years ago, he left the game. 5 years ago, they fell in love. And 1 year ago, she ran out into the cold with absolutely no intention of ever coming back. And 2 minutes ago, they woke up bloody and bruised and handcuffed together in the dark. They don't know where they are, they don't know how they got there, and they have absolutely no idea who is after them or what this nameless, faceless villain wants. The only thing that's clear is that after 10 years of covers and chemistry, secrets and lies, these two rival spies have been sucked into their greatest mission yet, and now they're going to have to team up to stay alive if they don't kill each other first. So, after reading The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year last year, I have become a huge Allie Carter fan. I mean, why did it take me so long to read her amazing romances that pull in the best suspense? I have no idea, but I love the sound of this new romance that is a sort of rivals to lovers, second chance romance that I think is going to really give a good summer caper if you have nothing to go on but the book summary. I cannot wait to read it. I'm actually kind of even hoping that maybe this might be one of our book of the month for the She Reads Romance Books book club. I don't know. We'll see. But fingers crossed, add this to your TBR list of summer romance books because I think it's going to be awesome. And, after that, I know your summer is going to be booked with amazing reads because I just gave you 15 amazing new releases that are coming out this summer that, again, I think are going to be just perfect for either their summer setting or the summer romance that you're going to find. All amazing books. So write them down, pre-order, get started reading, and have a most fantastic summer of reading romance. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Again, would love for you to read or rate the podcast, leave a review if you haven't already. And then if you check out any of these books, drop me a line and let me know what you think of them. Would love to hear it. So tune in to my next episode. Can't wait to hear from you then. But in the meantime, happy reading because life is better with a love story. That's all for this episode of the She Reads Romance Books podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and found some new books to add to your TBR list. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. It really helps me reach more romance book lovers like you, and I appreciate your support. If you're a book boyfriend collector like me, then you'll want to join my email list so you never miss a podcast episode or a new book list. Just visit shereadsromancebooks.com/join and sign up today. As a thank you, I'll instantly send you my list of top 10 book boyfriends that will make you swoon. Trust me, you don't want to miss this list. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.